What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get started on a steel hammer formed guitar body. So these are the drawings that I've got going so far. I've got to make templates so I can hammer form some 16 gauge steel into our Constellation model. I don't have a Constellation at the house right now. One of them's at the store in Telluride. I'll throw some photos up. I want to give credit to Make It Custom with Carl Fisher. He's got a great video on how to do this, on how to hammer form. Okay, so I've got an MDF template to plasma cut a piece of this sheet metal out. It's got about 5/8 spacing away from the actual line because I want about a 1/2 inch. Once I got my drop with the router, I had success with that, but I couldn't find the right spacer to get in here. So this ended up being jigsawed and filed, so it's a bummer. But this is all gonna be hand formed and everything anyway, so I'm not really sure what to expect. So we're gonna use my little Cut 50 plasma cutter. I haven't used it in quite a while. I'm gonna have to relearn some settings and see how it goes. I'll probably do maybe a little test cut over here or something, and we'll give her a go. Okay, so we're back in the shop today, beautiful Friday morning. I've got my steel plate cut out at a 16 gauge. I got to drill some holes, clean up the edges a little bit. For my air hammer, I've got this little guy with, he's going to be real helpful. I took a piece of 5/8, made it so it'll fit inside of certain pieces that I need to really get a tight curve on that steel. And that'll have to be welded on to some of these for the air hammer as well. I have this hammer, which I've had for a very long time. So what I'm going to do, I think, is reshape this a little bit so it's not so pointy. Maybe do a little bit to that, because that's what I'm going to start with when I get going on this. This could be a complete failure, or this could work really well. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so first impression's pretty good. This hammer works pretty well. I need to smooth it out a little more, polish it a little more, but it does the job pretty good. And getting in here, this is a pretty sharp route, which I made this for so that I can weld it on to one of these. I do the air hammer in here and get in there. This guy works pretty good. It seems to be a little sharp. I'm gonna have to kind of polish and sand that. Marked it up pretty good, which isn't the end of the world. I kind of thought that would happen, because I gotta weld these together so I can really get in here and see if this is gonna work, because this is really a feature of this guitar. And if it's not gonna work, that's gonna have to be cut out and shaped separate, which I really don't want to do. So hopefully we can get this figured out. Okay, well, first impressions on this, I'm actually pretty excited about it. And if you can't hear it, I've got a little bit of a cold. So there are some things that went wrong that I figured would go wrong. For the most part, I'm sure anyone that's experienced doing this would go, oh my God, what have you done? But for me, I'm like, wow, what have I done? So basically this is what we ended up with. For the most part, all the radius stuff looks pretty cool, I think. The piece is flat. It's not warped in any weird way. There's a bit of a peak here, which is okay because this is the front. It's gonna get cut out for the neck anyway, the neck pocket. So I wasn't worried about that. The biggest concern on this guitar was the little router dips that we do in wood, which basically this whole body is very usable. my Flintstone ways, I cut these edges off with the plasma cutter. It looks a little crude, but it's actually pretty good. Now I got probably about a 3/4 inch strip of metal that's gonna go along all these edges to make the side of the guitar. This will be an arm cut, so we'll cut that out, make a stencil at the right angle, cut that out, as well as this little curve here, belly curve. And then we'll be taking a step bit and I'll get into all these corners for all these cutouts that are gonna end up happening here. For cavities, for knobs and switches. This particular model has a switch either here or here, depending. With the Bigsby, it's nice to have it here. Or if you're into Les Pauls, it's nice to have it up there. We're gonna have a post bridge, and then I gotta cut the neck pocket out and make that as well. These holes in the back were just necessary for the buck to hammer form, so they'll be all welded back up and smoothed out again. So far, it's pretty cool. There I go through times where I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And then I go, oh my God, I did it. So I don't know, it's working pretty good. I've spent quite a few hours on this. This is just the neck pocket. I need this to be good as far as fitting my template, which is a Strat route. I also have the actual neck that's going to go on this guitar. This is a Warmoth neck. This is actually from Constellation number 3. Technically, the steel Constellation is number 4. Customer that bought number 3 wanted a neck that had smaller frets, so I have this neck that has jumbo frets on it. We're going to use it for this metal guitar and we're going to refinish it. But I need this neck pocket to fit well. So right now it fits really nice. It fits a little loose, which is okay because this guitar is going to be primered and it's going to be painted. It's not going to be bare metal to show off that it's metal or steel. So a little bit of play is okay and it fits pretty good. I've spent some time hammering these corners out, but we're going to go ahead and tack weld it to this plate here, which is a little thicker, not 16 gauge, a little thicker, because I feel like it's better to have a little bit of thickness, just because it's a very important joint to the guitar. But we're going to tack weld all this. Another beautiful sunset. I love the window out here, straight out to the west in Colorado. You can see the LaSalle's into Utah. Anywho, I have very lightly tacked a neck pocket. I'm treading lightly. I haven't done this before. I'm trying to just make sure that I have a good neck pocket. This is my template I've used for many guitars. Strat route, fitting in there really well. You can see I burned it a little bit with welding. Poor thing. MDF doesn't do well with heat or hammering. I got to do a little bit of cutouts. Cut the radius out here so that this will sit somewhat flat on there. I got to get center lines. I also have a post bridge that's going to need probably some neck angle. I might do a little recession in here so that bridge can go down. One thing I love about Fender is that there is no neck angle and you can just bolt whatever neck on. And I'd like to continue that. I've been using Schroeder. I apologize if I'm saying this wrong. I've used them many times. Schrader or Schroeder bridges. They're beautiful bridges. If I can get the bridge a little lower, one of the advantages I've noticed with having a metal guitar. For example, with the jack on the side, I'm not going to need a jack plate. It's just going to be a hole with the jack screwed on. There's things that I've noticed here that are very interesting that I've had to alter the way I think about building guitars, but I'm very happy about what's going on here. But I'm thinking about, which I could do with a wood guitar I guess too, is getting this post bridge down just a little bit lower, and of course you can thread it up higher. But if I don't have to have so much of a neck angle lean down like a Gibson or any other post bridge guitar, we'll see if it works or not. I don't know, but it's very cool, man. I'm super stoked on this thing. Constellation number 4, 16 gauge. I'm amazed what you can make metal do, and I've watched all these things on YouTube. It's one thing to watch YouTube and just think you can do it, but it's another thing to try it yourself. So get out there and hammer some metal. This is part 1. Part 2 and part 3, maybe part 4. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in again, like, subscribe to Alder and Maine. We'll see you soon.